Hi there, hello, Miss K here with my trumpet. I hope you've got your trumpet and I hope you are ready. So today you're going to need your team brass book. Here it is. Team brass book and your jazz book, grade 1 jazz book. So we're going to look at the Saints and a new tune. But we're going to start off by warming up with your team brass book on page 25. Page 25. Now, this page is all about the key signature. Now, you should know all about all of this. The key signature means that when you see either the sharp sign, we don't call it hashtag remember, the sharp sign or a flat sign. If you see the sharp sign on the top line, it means all your Fs are sharp. And for this Slavic slurs, that's what we're going to warm up with first. Slavic slurs, you use F sharp. Show me F sharp. Yep, second finger. So just first of all, let's play an F sharp together. Here we go. Let's do it again. Can you make up a rhythm on F sharp? Here we go. Can you change to F natural? First finger. Can you switch between the two and hear the difference? Which one's the highest in pitch? F or F sharp? Good, I hope you said F sharp because that's right. Now if you look at my fingers, when we press down our second finger, we're adding on this small piece of tubing here which makes the trumpet a little bit bigger. So if we started with G and then go down to F sharp, we're adding on this bit of tubing here. When we go down to F, we're adding on this bit of tubing, which is bigger, isn't it? Twice as big. So that's why F with your first valve sounds lower in pitch than F sharp. Now look at Slavic slurs on page 25. It's got that sharp sign at the beginning, right next to the curly treble clef. And that tells us all the Fs, remember, all the Fs in this tune are with your second finger. This is a nice slow warm-up using slurs, remember, like the slurs on page 16. So don't use your tongue except for the first note of each group. And starts on low B. So it's all a lot of B to F sharp to begin with. And lots of long notes, so don't go too fast. Slavic means kind of Eastern European, so it's got a kind of sound to it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds happy or sad? What do you think? The home note is actually a B, which it's a note we've not ended on before. So it means it's, well, I think it's quite sad. So it's minor, B minor. It's in the key of B minor or the scale of B minor. Okay, so practice that one. Use that as a good warm-up. I was just going to mention in that tune, just going to get a sheet for you. There are lots of long notes. The length of the note is important. Make sure the rhythm's right. Duration. So long and short notes is basically the rhythm of the tune. If you go too quickly on some of those long notes, it won't sound right. The rhythm won't be there. Okay, let's look at your scale sheet. Hang on, let me show you this properly. Your scale sheet. Looks like this, grade 1 scales. Now, we've looked at the top one, I believe. We know how to play Dorian on A. Look, it's got F sharp. Our note of the day, it's got F sharp. Starts on lower A and goes up to upper A, easy notes, using F sharp instead of F. So let's play Dorian on A, starting on low. Down there, ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, did you keep up? And did you hear where I took a breath? So I took a breath after the top note and then came down again. This time let's go A, B, 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 like that. So you've got a bit more time to think. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So in that tune, A is the home note and the F sharp, mustn't forget the A sharp. So that's called a Dorian scale. It's a kind of minor scale. These jazz scales have really good names. Look at the next one. Can you pronounce? Begins with M, and it might even be a bit chopped off on your photocopy. Mixolydian. Let me show you. Let me show you that word. Mixolydian. Mixolydian. Have we got F sharp again? Like this one? No, what have we got instead? We've got a flat. And this is a good rule for music. If there's one sharp on its own at the beginning, it's always an F sharp. If there's one flat on its own at the beginning in the key signature, it's always B flat. And you can see very clearly that the flat sign is on the note, on the line rather, where B would go, the note B. And that's how you can tell which flat or sharp it is. So Mixolydian starts and ends on C. So it looks a bit like our C major scale. Here's C major. But as we've just pointed out, this has a B flat in the key signature. So it's not normal B or B natural. It's going to have a flattened B. Let's listen to the difference. Okay, so that's the sound of a Mixolydian. I want to hear that scale from you next time I see you. Now look at the next one, the next scale, F major, just straightforward F major scale. Also, what's the key signature? Also has B flat. So again, this is all the same notes as Mixolydian. In fact, if you look at the highest note of the F major scale, it is C. And if you look at that C going all the way down to lower C, that's exactly what we just played in the Mixolydian scale above. But then we come up again and finish on F because F is the home note. So listen to F major and watch my fingers. And we end on F. So F major and C Mixolydian both use B flat. Now the reason we learn these scales is not just to be awkward, it's because the scales relate to the music. Now if we pick up our jazz book and we turn to page 14 and we look at the Saints Go Marching In, which we played last week, what's the key signature? It has a B flat in the key signature. So what scale is it in then, or what key is it in? It's in the key of F, just like the scale we just played. And if you look at the last note of the tune that you play on the bottom line, it's an F. So we always finish on the key note, or the home note, and in this case it's F. So if you practice that F major scale, it will make playing this tune easier. Now, when you get to the improvising in this tune, it's all based around that note F. If you look at the notes they've given you for the improvising, it misses out B flat in the first bit and actually does put it back in the second bit. So let's do a bit of back and forth on F major. I'll play something, then you can play something. And please don't forget the B flat, because I will be able to tell by the sound of it. So here I go, I'm going to play. So it's in swing, this one, isn't it? Do-be-do-do-do. Do-be-do-do-do. So I'll play something, and then I'll leave a gap for you to play something. Remember, F is our home note, so base it around F. Here we go. 1, 2, me first. 1, 2, 3. Your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your turn. Down, to 2, down to 3, to 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I was only using the notes that they've given you at the beginning where it says solo break. I used F, G, A and upper C. Can't go wrong. If you stick to those notes, it will sound great. So you can use those notes for the whole first line of the solo. When you get to the second line of the solo, it gives you B flat, which you can add in. Also gives you A flat or G sharp, which you can add in. I'm not going to talk about that note, but if you can see the note there if you want to try it. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to play something, you're going to play something. I'm going to use B flat as well. Basically, I'm using these notes. Guess what? The first half of your scale, starting on F. So if you know the scale, it's very easy to make something up. So here we go. Me first. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh. 1, 2, 1, 2. Return. Return. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Learning your scales means making something up is very, very easy. And remember, improvising is just making up a tune. You're making up a tune, and then you're making up another tune. And remember, if you think of question, answer, that's the way to build up a solo or a tune. And if you could be maybe thinking about writing a tune for me, composing something that I can see or hear when we meet again. So do think about being creative with your notes. Don't just read it off the page. Right, I'm going to introduce another tune for you today, Idaho. It's on the next page, page 15. Now you can listen to this at home with your CD, track number 9, and you will have a trumpet player and the band playing the whole thing for you. It's quite fast. But the nice thing about it, it repeats its patterns, as all of these things do. It repeats its patterns. First thing we need to do is look at the key signature. The key signature. Is it a B flat? No. It's an F sharp. F sharp at the top. So we now know that all the Fs in this tune are going to be with your second finger. All the Fs. Also, the very first note of the tune is at the end of the top line. The second note on the second line is a B. Not B flat, because we have F sharps in this tune. So the first bit goes da 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 da. Do you see that? And it ends on an E. So I'm just going to play it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the next bit, same again. Here I go. 1, 2, 3. Now you have a long gap here, empty bars, where you don't improvise because there's no slash. It's not like this bit, is it? This is where you improvise, where you've got the slash bars. But this bit, these are bars of rest. So you listen to your band, and you listen what instrument's playing the tune, the piano. And when the piano's finished, you get a little cue. Listen to what the band do. The piano plays something, the drums play something to bring you back in. And guess what? You play the same tune again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now some of these rhythms, if you look at them, are a bit tricky. You've got some quaver rests, and that comes up, that's about our duration. Again, the length of the notes. Now if you look at this, these are crotchet rests, 1 beat each, and if we split each of these ones in half, you would have quaver rests, so they are like a little 7. So that's a whole bar of 8 quaver rests. You would never write it like that, of course. You would write it with 1 block, and that is 1 bar's rest. So for every note, there is a kind of rest. So the main thing is to listen to the way I'm playing it, and listen to track 9, because they explain how it should be done. Okay, so I'm now going to move on to Big Mama. Right, Big Mama's in this book. You need to get out your easy Jazzy Tudes and turn to page 3. Big Mama. It's a great tune, this, because it's very simple, and we've talked a bit about scales already. This uses a pentatonic scale. How many notes are there in a pentatonic scale? Think of a pentagon. How many sides does a pentagon have? 5. So in a pentatonic scale, there are 5 notes. So I'm going to play the 5 notes that are used in this tune. And the easiest way to see those is to look at the end of the tune. You've got a load of C's at the end. But if you just go to the first of those C's and work your way up backwards from the end of the tune, we have C, E flat, F, G, B flat. And if you go to the beginning of the song, you can see that you could add on the upper C as well. So this whole song is just based on that minor pentatonic 5-note scale. Which is a very jazzy scale, and it says bluesy at the top, and that's what it is. Now the very first thing you have in this piece of music, the very first thing you have to play is not to play, because you have a quaver rest. So let's just check that out again, right here. Looks a bit like a number 7. Before you play the note's there. Before you play the note, you have a quaver rest. Very important that you don't ignore the quaver rest. And if you're thinking about the duration, the lengths of the notes, for every note there's a rest. So these are crotchet or 1 beat rests. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shh, 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 shh. If we break each of those into half, we get a quaver rest. Shh, 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 shh. 8 of them. So 8th note rests. So what that means, in effect, when we start this tune, you've got to think of a big stamp on the floor. When you get to the end of that line, you've got another rest, a block, which is 2 beats, because the note, the C at the end of the first line, although it's tied, it's a 2-beat note, isn't it? It's a minim, so you've got 2 beats left. So you have to imagine that every line starts with a big stamp. You don't have to do the stamp, you've got to think 1, ba, and then you come in. So if this was, imagine a big jazz band playing this piece, we'd go 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, ba, ba, ba. And if you were playing in a big jazz band, that would be the drummer giving you that first beat rest, and you kind of bounce off of that rest. And if you look over that C that the tune starts on, it's got a little kind of arrowhead, and we call that an accent. And that means that you hit that note with your tongue it hard, bounce off the note, and you can see some other accents in the line as well, and that's what makes it really jazzy when you get the rhythm. So you've got an accent on the C, and then the other 2 notes in this bar, the B flat and the G, both have a little dot over the top. Do you remember what that means? Staccato. So short, they're short. The F in the next line has a line underneath, so it's kind of long. Then you've got another accent, then 2 dots, and then a line, a dot, and an accent. So every note in this piece has got either an accent, a dot, staccato, or a line, tenuto, which means hold it a bit. So this, the lengths of these notes, or the way you play the notes, really is what gives it helps out this jazzy rhythm. Okay, I'm going to play the whole thing. Remember, before you start to play this piece, you need to practice the minor pentatonic scale going up and going down. So let's do that first, actually. Here we go. Did you notice the fingering? A lot of that. So it's quite easy. Don't forget this note though, the E flat. Don't forget E flat. Okay, Big Mama, here's a version that you can play along with. Don't forget to imagine, or even do if you can, a big old stamp on beat 1. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Big Mama one more time with a backing track on the drums. I just googled drums, swing. Here's a backing in swing that we can play along with. One, two, three, four. Here we go. Ready for the stamp? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can hear where the drums play on that quaver rest at the beginning of each line, and you can bounce off the end of it. So that's Big Mama. With the drums, you can always find a slower drum beat. That was at 120, by the way. So if you want to find a slower drum beat, maybe try doing it at 100, and just Google it, and you'll find some backing track on YouTube. Okay, practice playing along with Big Mama. That's it for today, and lots to practice, lots to learn. Have a listen to Idaho. Next week we'll work on that and carry on with Big Mama. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.